Turn it on.
Good evening, everybody.
Um,
Okay. It is 7 p.m. on Wednesday, November 15th. We're going to call this meeting to order. And if we can go ahead and stand, remove your hats, shut your phones off, so we can have a moment of silence and say the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is anybody taping? I'm sorry, I can't. Was there somebody in the back? No? Nobody's taping, okay. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from October 18th and October 26th. I make a motion to approve the October 18th and October 26th. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye, unanimous. Next thing we have, Leo, if you would be so kind to read the correspondence. The first one is from Mr. Philip Renard.
Received November 1st, 2023, and dated the same day. Brookridge Board of Directors, formation of club. I would like to form a club, if anyone is interested, around the subject of aviation and airplanes. This would be a group that would be open to former military servicemen and women, pilots or ground crew, air traffic controllers, mechanics, or anyone with an interest in airplanes. Activities would be determined after a few meetings to get a consensus about what the group would like to talk about. Meetings could be arranged for about 1 to 2 hours on a monthly basis. Perhaps a meeting less often in the summer when many residents leave. Meeting content would be dependent upon the participants and what they find interesting. My goal is to get things started depending upon the level of interest. My qualifications are I am an FAA certified flight and ground instructor, a member of the Federal Aviation Administration Safety Team, member of the Experimental Aircraft Association, Chapter 1298 at Brooksville Regional Airport. I actively participate in these groups. I thank you for your consideration. Philip Renault, 14254 Montclair Drive in Brookridge. I make a motion to form a new club, aviation club, with dates, times, and spaces to be determined.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pass unanimous.
Second letter. Received and dated October 30th, 2023. BCPO Board of Directors. Regarding Community Craft Show. Dear BCPO Board Board of Directors, we, the Craft Show Committee, would like to request that the community host a craft show to be scheduled for Saturday, November 16, 2024, from 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. The event will be held at the clubhouse inside the South Hall. The event is for residents only, in addition to inviting 6 outside vendors. We will require bingo takedown Friday night, set up Friday night, and vendor set up Saturday morning at 7 a.m. There should be no overtime hours or schedule adjustments for clubhouse staff. Primary contact is Nancy LaChiara. The Craft Show Committee thanks you for consideration of our request. Signed, Nancy LaChiara. I make a motion for a resident craft show on Saturday, November 16, 2024, from 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. in the clubhouse.
Leo, I just have a quick question for Vince. Vince, is this okay with you for the craft show? Is this going to be okay?
It follows bingo.
Right. Okay.
Same thing as a grass sale.
Okay. All right.
Next one, receive October.
I second the motion. All in favor? Aye. Pass unanimous.
Okay. This received October 30th and dated the same day. BCPO Board of Directors, 7300 Brookridge Central Boulevard, Brooksville, Florida, regarding community yard sale October 19, 2024. Dear BCPO Board of Directors, we, the Yard Sale Committee, would like to request that the community host a yard sale to be scheduled for Saturday, October 19, 2024, from 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. The event will be held at the clubhouse inside the South Hall with the option to use the North Hall. This yard sale event is for Brookridge residents only. It will require no overtime hours or schedule adjustments of the clubhouse staff. We will require Friday night after bingo takedown and set up. Then on Saturday, we'll need breakdown following the event. Primary contact again is Nancy LaChiara. October 19, receive October 19th, dated October 16th, to the Board of Directors, Brookridge Community Property Owners. Dear Board of Directors, Helping Hands is.
Let's finish with the first. Before we motion, I had a quick question. For the yard sale, typically in the past, we've done an inside and outside. Are we getting the approval for an inside event only, or are we talking about doing an outside event if the weather's acceptable? Inside only, okay, thank you.
If you make it to outside, that way if she has extra tables, she can sell them for outside tables.
Vince said if they allowed for outside as well, she could sell extra tables for the community, so we have an opportunity to do inside and outside. So this, because it's so far away, it allows the group to think about that and decide if that's a viable and a good option.
Everything you're okay? Has it been checked out?
No, we already checked them out. Sorry, I just.
Yeah, motion to be amended to say inside and or outside.
Sure, go ahead.
Nancy.
Is this on? Okay. The yard sale, I'm sorry. Nancy LaShara, Unit 1. The yard sale, We were just wanting it for the residents, not outside people. They can come shop, but just not to sell tables to them.
That,
And that's what you want.
the yard sale is closed to outside people as far as purchasing tables.
Okay.
Okay, so if you want to make it inside and outside, that gives everybody more options to put out. Outside, I heard a lady in the back said, oh, that's great, okay? Right?
Yes.
Okay, so the more options you give them, they can put out on the parking lot or along, we have plenty of tables to put out there. And if that's what you guys want to do, but I'm just saying that if they vote just for inside, then the outside is out. So if you leave it open for people to purchase outside tables, it's totally up to you as you to be the chairman.
So if we don't sell enough tables, or, I mean, for people to go outside, can we just move it to the inside at the last minute? I mean, everybody to the inside?
No, everybody's, you have inside tables. You're selling the inside tables. Now, I'm not doing this, you're not doing this outside. If people want to buy an outside table, they may buy an outside table,
Okay.
right? But you're primarily in-house.
Is there any discussion on it? If we make a motion to amend.
Yes, I would make a motion to amend it so
to have
it's
it
inside and or outside.
Inside, right. So, any discussion on making a motion for inside and outside? Is that okay with you? Okay, and then that way. All right, November 16th, from 7 to 12. Oh, that's sorry. October 19th, 2024, 7 to 12, a whole year away. Yeah, you gotta get it on the calendar, exactly. So I make a motion to amend to have it inside and outside for the craft show. Can I have a second? All in favor? A yard sale. The craft fair in the yard. For yard sale. All in favor? Aye, unanimous.
Men's breakfast.
On the 19th of October, this came in.
It's this weekend.
No, next year.
Next year? Are you talking, Terry, next year or this year? Next year. Do we have anything for Troma yet?
I don't think so.
Okay.
For the 24th, is your breakfast you're saying next year? Or November 24th? November 24th, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm talking about the 19th.
Of
That's
October?
Saturday, isn't it?
October 19th, is that what you're asking?
November 19th, next year.
We don't have a sale November 19th.
Okay.
The yard sale's for the 16th of November, that's a Saturday. The craft sale, no, I'm sorry. The craft sale is November the 16th, and the yard sale would be October the 19th.
Yeah, thank you.
Letter dated October 16th, received on October 19th. Board of Directors. Dear Board of Directors, Helping Hands is Brookridge Sewing for Charity Group. Our club supplies helpful items to hospice, the military, area nursing homes, children's hospital units as part of the nationwide project, Linus, veterans centers, and others. While we accept donations, our major fundraiser is an annual pancake breakfast. We are asking your consideration to again approve our pancake breakfast to be held in the great room of the clubhouse Sunday, February 11th, 2024, from 7:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. To prepare, we would need access at 6 a.m. and the evening before for a room setup. In the past, our group has not incurred an overtime charge for this event, and we would greatly appreciate your waiving that fee again. Additionally, we are requesting people from outside the community be allowed to attend the pancake breakfast. Thank you for your consideration. If you have any questions, please contact me at my number, Mary Sweeney, President, 352-597-2850.
Is there any discussion on this? Make a motion? I'm sorry. I make a motion for Helping Hands to have a pancake breakfast on Sunday, February 11, 2024, from 7:30 to 11:30 in the clubhouse, and to allow outside guests to attend. Do I have a discussion on this?
Second.
Second. George seconded.
The only discussion I have is that I participated in this year, and it was a very good event, and I strongly recommend that we allow them to have another event in February on the 11th. I think it's a great idea and great option.
Yeah, they do a really good job. Is Miss Sweeney here? No? Okay. All in favor? Aye, pass unanimously.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for attending tonight. First off, as always, we greatly appreciate everybody coming out and supporting the board, supporting the community. Without you, we would not be able to get done what we're doing. And every day we do it for all of you, for everybody, for us, for the community. So I have a couple things. First off, Dick, can you stand up, please? You have to stand up. It's an order. Okay. So Dick here has put on the Veteran Show, Veteran Celebration, and you have tremendously given to Brookridge. Without you, we would not have new projector, new lights, new sound system, and an incredible ceremony. Yes, but the entertainment and everything. So, I greatly want to thank you for everything that you do, and also for the wonderful ceremony that we have here honoring our veterans on Veterans Day. So thank you very much. I also want to thank the ladies of Brookridge. Is anybody here from the ladies of Brookridge? Okay. Well, thank you. They gave a donation to us for $500 for the EIDs that we're purchasing, the defibrillators, the thank you. It's been a long week. And $200 towards the 50+ birthday. So, thank you, Brookridge ladies of Brookridge. Thank you very, very much. Could not have done it without you. We had our first committee meeting of the Brookridge 50+. We are planning on the 50+ birthday celebration to take place on March 9th of 2024 here. We are in contact with a caterer, Marzella's, who caters a lot of events for us. So we are in contact with him, also entertainment and things like that. So we had a wonderful first meeting, And we appreciate everybody coming out for that. We look forward. We're gonna schedule another meeting so that we can start planning some, more events for that day. So again, we're looking at March 9th, 2024. I know you're all asking about Fleetway. A default was ended on 11/8 for failure to provide the required information. So that is moving along, okay? We are moving along on that. That is taken, it is moving in the right direction. So that. The other thing is the election committee, ballots. If you guys could stand up so we could, recognize you. Who was busy today is Hope here. Paul, you guys could stand up. Linda, Esther, all of you. They have worked, thank you, they have worked enormous, very hard. They're going to continue to work hard. We greatly appreciate all your hard work. The other thing that we were going to bring up, which is not on the agenda, but I wanted to mention, we did not know if the snowbird election part was going to be passed. If it does pass tonight, and again, we don't know, but if it does pass tonight, then we're going to go ahead. If you are a snowbird and you are interested for a seat on the board, we're going to accept applications from November 27th to December 1st. If it passes tonight, and we will send out information if it does. So with that, we'll shortly find out. The other thing I wanted to bring up is speeding. I have some numbers for you, and they will probably shock you. From December 1st, 2023 to November 11th, 2023. Now, mind you, it's not every single day, okay? It's not all day. It's not like they're sitting out there with the radar gun 10, 12 hours, okay? Between those days, there was 90 violations written. That is for other violations, so it's a total for violations. Of the 90, 116 violations were written. Of that, 32 were for speeding. That is 27.5%. That is a lot for our community in here. Yes. 10/1/2023 through 11/11/2023. Of 116 violations written, and they were written for various things, harass, things like that, 32 were written for speeding. Yes, I can tell you that I was leaving early last week and turning onto Brookridge Central to leave, and somebody was coming through the gate coming in, and it looked like the Daytona 500, and that is absolutely no lie. So we've had somebody working very diligently in getting information from Hernando County Sheriff's Department on their speeding violations, how they write them, how much it costs, okay? And we are very much looking at adopting the Hernando County Sheriff's speeding violations money. And that would be for like a first offense, 0 to 9, $70, 10 to 14, $125, 15 to 19, $175, 20 to 29, $200, 29, they have a mandatory appearance, we can't have that, but they have it set at $250. It goes on to a second offense, which gets a little higher, and then a third offense, they are also, we're also looking at, if it's a third offense, that you lose your privileges for 30 or more days. We're really gonna consider this. We have to get the speeding under control. So we're thinking about adopting this and putting it on for the next ballot. And we know that you are all concerned, we are all concerned. That's why we have a traffic safety committee. They're concerned. They have brought more items up to us. And we look for any input you have for speeding. But we wanted to let you know that we have been seriously talking about it between ourselves, looking at it, watching. I live on Brookridge Boulevard, and I can tell you, if you remember the Dukes of Hazzard, I have literally seen them come up. So I understand, I am very concerned about it. There is a lot of walkers out there. I have seen them where they've almost come down the hill from Brookridge, they've had to swerve. So it's a very big issue for all of us. So we are diligently working on getting something together for that and presenting it to all of you. But that's some of our ideas where we're going, and to adopt the county way. And then that way, we're not going off a beaten path. We're staying within county, what the county does. So I appreciate every single one of you coming out tonight in this rain, which we desperately need. And we look forward again to serving you. And if you have any ideas, suggestions, our phones are always open. Please contact us. Thank you very much.
Debbie, if I could, I had a question that when I was in the admin building this week was presented to me about speeding, and it's one of the last items that, since we're talking about it, I'll bring it up. Speeding, these are the two questions I got. It was a very pleasant and polite inquiry from one of the residents. What constitutes speeding? How are you defining speeding? Well, speeding is going over the speed limit. If it's 30, you're going 31, you're speeding. The second question is, which was the follow-up question, at what speed will a violation be written up by code enforcement? And the answer, I spoke with Harry a couple different times, it's +4. So if you're on the boulevard and you're going 35, 34, 37, you're going to get written up. If you're going 33, you are not. Another question that keeps getting asked, and it's not on the list, but I'll throw it out there. Well, if a vendor comes in, if my air conditioner person comes in, or my painter comes in and gets a violation, no, the resident is not responsible for that, the vendor is. If your mother, your daughter, your kids come in and they're speeding, then you are responsible for it. So that's the clarification. It's +4, whatever the speed limit is.
Exactly. And the other thing that we had spoke about was the roads here were built a long time ago when cars were a lot smaller. They didn't have the Suburbans and the Expeditions like they have now. So you have a 2-lane road going down one of the neighborhood streets that was built 40 years ago with a lot smaller cars. So we're also have to take that into consideration with the speeding, but yes, you're absolutely correct. Yes.
All right, for the treasurer's report, I'll just hit the highlights. You'll notice that the operating balance for the reoccurring operations account is $179,000. And if you notice the month before was 312, that's a pretty big drop in available funds in our operating account. The reason for that is in the month of October, we paid $150,000 that moved from the operating account to the reserve account. What that represents is months 9 and months number 10 of 10 for the year 2022. Those, as you may remember from prior meetings, were not paid and needed to be paid so that we could say that we were fully funded. I also paid month 9 of 2023, which means we have, for 2023, we have month number 10, and there's $46,680. So there's a big drop in the operating balance from 312 to 179, and a big increase from 2.4 million to 2.6 million. So that's where that comes from. The interest that we earned in the month of October, 7,200 in reserves, 3,500 in operating, more than 10,000 in just in the month of October. As a quick point of reference, 2019, we earned $83 in interest. 2020, we earned 17,000 and some change. 21, 15,000, and 22, 2,000. So from that standpoint, we're doing quite well. The total that we paid out of the reserves was 5670. That was to ASE for the gate. And then under the donated funds, we have 23,664. We paid out 4231.44, and in donations that came in 1,074. The grand total interest, by the way, for the year is 41,295. If you look at the notes A, B, and C, thank you. It just gives the highlights of what the reserve funding that we did in the month of October, as well as we have 25 CDs/CDARs in 21 different financial institutions. In November, 4 of those are coming due for maturity and will be reinvested. And that's the highlights. Any questions from anyone?
Any,
At the end of the day, it's for the community.
is there any questions?
Thank you for that. Let's talk about the audit for 2022. Just yesterday, we spoke with our accountants and they finished up 2022's reconciliation January through December. And just to give you an idea of what was involved with that, we took all of our statements, whether it was a bank statement or whether it was our reports, and we went through those month by month. The finance committee did this. It's a very large job, very tedious. There's got to be a million lines of entries there. Linda, Mary, Paul, all worked on that effort diligently. We gave the information to the accountants. They reconciled the books, and they are now ready to be audited, and that's the next step. So the question is, when are we going to do it? We could literally do it as early as tomorrow. Who's going to be the auditor? I don't know. It's something that we'll have at the next meeting. We should have. We've given it to this person, and they're working on it, or maybe it'll even be done. But that's where we stand with the 2022 audit. Thank you.
And if it wasn't for our finance committee, we wouldn't have been able to get to this point so quickly. They have worked night and day. Mary Story, Linda Walls, Paul, everybody, very hard to get to this point. We did not know that we were not balancing until well after May. Nothing had been balanced. We were not informed of that, and so we had to backpedal. The finance committee had meetings with the CPAs in person to find out what the problem was and how to fix it. But the CPAs cannot do the audit. We have to have an independent person, basically a third party, to look at their work. So that's where we are. And it took an enormous amount of time, and our finance committee, our members worked through the weekends, at night, to get us to this point. And you have to be able to reconcile those statements in order to go to the next statement. And if you can't, you have to find out why and have it corrected and get into balance. So they worked very, very hard with Jim. We have a great finance committee, and they are year round. So they deserve a tremendous amount of thank yous very much. Okay, new business. Is there any unfinished business? No? Okay. New business, our 2024 budget vote outcome.
Thank you.
questions just last year.
Okay, thank you. Let's start with the budget. I'm gonna give you the totals because there's ballot voting and there's online voting. So I'll just jump to the bottom line, or the line at the bottom. There were 1,025 votes cast. The four votes are 587, for 438 against. Budget passed by 150 some odd votes. Article 3, which I believe was the renter vote, the fees for the renters, 561 against 456 out of 1,017 votes. That was a fail, even though the percentage is 55.2. It failed because it had to have a 2/3 majority. It had a 66.67%. So that item, although it statistically passed under our policy, it did not pass. So that's a fail. Section 8, which was the RV compound, 581 for, 441 against, out of 1,022, a percentage of 56.89, also a fail. It again had to have the 66.67. The third one, the capital contribution, 427 against, 590, out of 1,017 votes. The failure rate was 42%, and that failed statistically and by the 667. Article 11, Section 1, which was rewording for the CDs, correct? That passed 642 to 376 against out of 1,018. And the last one was the snowbirds, 636 for, 387 against, for a total of 1,023. It's saying that it's passed, and it did pass because that only needed a 50% majority. So that was more than 50%, so that passed. So 3 failures, 2 passed, and the budget passed. Say again, please. The budget only needed 50%. It's a simple majority. 51. Thank you. These results will be posted, so anyone that wants to take a peek at them is more than welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad the snowbird passed. Yes. Jim, you wanted to go last on the pickleball, correct?
Well, I'd like to do that. I believe that there are 2 sets of groups of people.
Right.
Some that are interested in it and some that are not. The
So
ones that
you're
are
gonna
not, maybe they can have a little shorter night. The ones that are happy to stay, and we'll do that last if that's okay with the board.
Okay,
Okay,
all right,
thank you.
all right. Sure.
I just wanted to say, the budget passed, obviously we just heard, so now the assessments will be $50 per month per lot. We've had some people today, anxious to pay next year. Of course, we understand that. Give us a little bit of time to get the new invoices in the computer. As of December 1st, we will be accepting payments for 2024. So I just wanted to give everybody a heads up on that. Thank you. And we will be sending statements also about the first week of December, like we usually do. Thank you.
And while we're speaking of that, as we've discussed in prior meetings, please do not pay cash for those assessments. I went to the bank 2 or 3 days ago. I had a stack of cash like that. It's unsafe for our employees. The person who took it to the bank, which happened to be me, is at particular risk. So if you could not bring cash, that'd be helpful. And for anyone who was interested in paying either quarterly or yearly, it makes it a lot easier on our staff. So thank you.
Okay. The next item is the swearing in of the nominating committee. If Mary Story, Kelly Brock, Lynn Bruno, Terry Johnson, and is Tracy here? Tracy McGumber? I didn't see her. Okay, all right.
Jim, do they have to come and resubmit the paperwork for the bank?
No. The people on ACH?
Yes.
No,
Well, you might want to announce that.
no.
The question that came from, I believe a YouTube question was, do you have to resubmit your ACH paperwork so that you can have an automatic deduction from your checking account? And the answer is no.
All right, will you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly promise and swear that you will administer the office to which you have been appointed to the best of your ability, judgment, in conformity with the governing documents of Brookridge Community Property Owners, Inc.? That you will, in all your acts, be governed by the principles of honesty, justice, and fair play, and in every manner possible, endeavor to promote the safeguard and the best interest of the citizens of Brookridge and the welfare of its membership. Do you swear? Do. You may lower your hand. By the virtue of authority conferred upon me, I do hereby proclaim and duly appoint you nominating committee and officially install you into office. Thank you. We have one more. Is Evelyn Mitchell here? No. No, Evelyn. Well, she is going to be on our traffic safety committee, so if she comes to the Friday meeting, we can install her then.
Debbie, I was asked to mention to the group, as well as people listening on YouTube, if you have something set up with your bank where your bank automatically sends your payment to us for that HOA fee, you may need to contact your bank and get that updated. So I would ask that people will have that service and utilize it. Please contact your bank just to make sure. Thank you.
Also, one quick question from Jerry Kraft, Unit 1. Now that Snowbird can be on the board, will there be resumes accepted to include possible Snowbirds on the board for 2024, I assume?
Can you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
When is the due date for the board of directors for 2024? You know?
Right.
Is it December 4th or was it back, did we already pass it?
Well, we didn't know if the Snowbird was going to pass. So now that we do know, we were going to open that up for nominations for the Snowbird for November 27th through December 1st.
Well, one more time? Just so they know, just so they know it on YouTube.
November 27th through December 1st for Snowbird, for taking applications.
For the March election, correct. Thank you.
Lolita, when we get to that. And I just got a text message from Tracy. She didn't realize that she was going to be sworn in tonight. So Tracy, no worries. We will get you sworn in. Don't worry. Okay, next we'll go to questions.
Sandy had a question.
Sandy Trouble Lewis, Unit 1. I just want to know what the election committee does.
Well, would anybody like to get up and explain what the election committee does? Hope, would you like to?
Here, Hope.
Hope Campbell, Unit 2. The election committee obviously counts the ballots, and that's what we did today. We had a great group of people that got here around 8:30 this morning, and basically they left at 4. My husband and my co-chair and I stayed till 5 minutes to 6, tallying their votes, filling out what Jim just read with the percentages, and getting everything back up to the office. The 6 weeks prior to that, we go down twice a week, open up where you have put in your ballots, take out your ballot, and log it in the book to show that you have voted. Once a week, we get the online voting, and we put those in the book. We make sure no one that online votes in person or in a ballot in the office mailbox also. It's time consuming. We've done it all with honesty, integrity, and accuracy. And I very much thank all the people that were on this election committee.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Does anybody else have any other questions? Okay. Any member comments? Oh, if you want it, you have to come up to the podium. No. We have to log you in. Oh.
Mary Lozelle,
Can I ask?
Unit 3, I'm back again about Crime Watch. We're still needing lots of members, we now are up to 14. Out of how many people?
I have permission.
Anyway, I've heard it said that Crime Watch is only active so that we can spy on our neighbors. I will tell you quite frankly that I go to my mailbox and can get high, just walk through the mailbox. So I'm sure we all have neighbors that we wish we didn't have, but basically that's not my business. The sheriff's department is very aware of what is going on in that house. And hopefully at some future date they will move. But I'm sure all of you have the same problem. What Crime Watch does, when we're walking our dog, going to out on a golf cart, or just getting up to pee in the middle of the night, looking up the window. At one point, years back, a neighbor down the street, somebody at 3:30 in the morning was disassembling his motor on his boat. So he had come in, this person had come into the community, we don't know if he belonged here or not, with the proper tools to get this motor off of the boat. And yes, we did catch him. But we watch, what I tell my people about Crime Watch is, you're looking for anything that's different. When I first started, we had no night guards. So they would go off at 11 o'clock. If I was awake, I would go out. I knew this community better at night than I did in the daytime. And what you're looking for is something different. Things that are different. If you see mailboxes bulging or newspapers piling up, you do not approach anybody. You do not get out your golf cart or go onto anybody's property for any reason. Called the sheriff's department on a number of occasions. There's never been a problem calling them. I think the longest I waited for anybody to show up was maybe 20 minutes, and that was on a non-emergency call. But I've been here for 30 years now. I've been on with Crime Watch since '04. We used to have people using the parking lot out here as a hotel. Because either they couldn't go to their own house, or they couldn't afford a hotel or whatever. We had kids sleeping in the parking lots. And we don't have that anymore. And as small as our group has gotten to be, we still are the safest neighborhood in the county. So anybody who would like to come, and we don't have special patrols. We started having special patrols, it didn't work because we're older, we get sick, we're going visiting, we're in the hospital or whatever, so the patrols never work. So basically, you're on your own, you go out and you do just observe. That's all you do. We are the eyes of the community. We're not the police of the community, we're only the eyes. So thank you very much again.
Thank you.
There's a few questions online. One is from Jerry Kraft, Shed Unit 1. How many openings are there on the board now, including Snowbird? So how many openings are we going to have to be voting on new directors in March?
It would just be the two existing that are coming up for re-election. That would be Millie and George, and we had held one seat for Snowbird.
One seat for Snowbird, okay. And then,
So
Mrs. Hoos, Sandy Hoos wants to know what the nominating committee does.
she's right here. She already asked. Oh, Sandy Hoos.
Sandy Hoos asked what the nominating committee does. She asked about the voting committee, the vote counting.
Oh, would anybody from the nominating committee like to answer that? Okay, I will. First off, they go ahead and they collect the resumes that have come in. They go through and they make sure they're in good standing. And if they are, then we will go ahead and they say that sign off on it and put it out there for the election and make sure they're on the ballot and give it off to Arlene and say they're all in good standing, or if they're not, then they'll explain that to Arlene as to why they're not.
Okay, another one question from Val Stratton. Doesn't a change in the bylaws require a 2/3 vote? Wouldn't that pertain to the financial vote and the Snowbird vote?
I don't believe so. I believe it's a 50% majority, but I'd be happy to check it tomorrow morning and confirm it.
No, it doesn't.
Was that, is she referring to the, I don't know if she's referring to the capital contribution vote?
Capital contribution was I believe it's a deed restriction.
Yes, yeah, that.
It's a deed restriction. The bylaws are 50.01 is what you need to pass it.
Right.
The deed restrictions are 66.67. I will double check it tomorrow just to be 100% sure.
And let's see, Sandy Goose wants to know, when.
Vince?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry,
Stand
Vince.
by.
Stand by.
You can take a picture of this, in the bylaws, article 17, amendment of bylaws. The bylaws may be amended or modified by a simple majority vote of the members participating in the vote by ballot.
She wants to know when to expect to have the Brookridge website back up and if the site was bought by an outside company.
The site wasn't bought by an outside company. We own everything. We actually stopped using the company that we were using. They inadvertently deleted things that they should have transferred. So our new company is rebuilding everything, and they actually just finished with the email accounts. So they are having to rebuild the website, and that's what they're in the process of. They hope to have it done very shortly, but We don't sell anything of ours to an outside company, ever. It belongs to all of you, and we would never sell your property to anybody.
I'm sorry, is that Jerry again? Was Jerry-
No, that was Sandy Hoos.
Oh, Sandy.
Is that it, Vince, for right now?
For right now, yes.
Thank you. Gil?
Gil into Unit 3. I got a couple of concerns that's really, I've been here 12 years, and I've had a couple of sad issues that's happened. Right here, yeah. You got a gentleman that at the end of Livermore, the man laid after 3 days, 3 weeks, died in his bed. How the heck do we allow that to happen? I know of another one that happened, they were in their bed over a week. Nobody checked on these people. How do we go about to correct that situation? I mean, I'm not trying to get involved in people's business or privacy, but as people that we walk and all that, how can we allow this to happen?
The sheriff's department actually has a program where you have to sign up for it yourself, and they call you every morning as a check-in. If they don't get an answer, then they dispatch somebody to your home. But we can't force people to join that program. And also neighbors, if looking out for neighbors, if you see something that's, piling up or something like that, to go over and knock if you haven't seen them come out, or, they raise the blind or something like that, to go, knock on the door. But the sheriff does a wonderful job here, for checking on people, but they have to sign up for the program, and it's free of charge.
I understand that some people don't know about that program, and I'm well aware of it. But this person that I'm talking about, I got involved with him because he had a unit in the compound, and I had to speak to him about his expiration date. I went down there, checked on him about a month before, and he told me he'd get back to me, and that was the end of it. I never heard no more. And people walk by there every day. If I go see somebody, I had somebody across the street from me, she hadn't been out of the house about 3 days, and that was unusual. And I had called in to the sheriff, have them come and check on him, wellness check. Maybe we need to pay a little more attention to our neighbors. I mean, I'm not asking you to invade their privacy, but, when somebody's dead in their bed for 3 weeks, that's a little bit excessive.
I totally agree. And they also have the buttons and, various other things, that you can push if you're in need. Of course, if somebody's, unfortunately to say, if they pass away in their bed, but that's when the sheriff comes into play, that if they signed up for the program and they didn't get a phone call, if nobody answers that phone, then they come out and dispatch somebody to that home. But again, neighbors, and if that brings up a good point, Gil, maybe, I just mentioned to Millie, maybe at one of our town halls, maybe we can have the sheriff come and, explain the call, the program for the phone call. And, put it in the news and views.
May I make a comment?
Sure, please.
That each year when I have the expo in January, the sheriff's department is here and they are signing people up. Now, again, we won't have the expo until January 24th of 24. But I do have the information that I can put in the news and views, and I will try to get it into December. We're proofing that right now. So I will try to get it into the December issue of the number that you call to sign up.
I appreciate what it is. We got a lot of people that come on. We have a lot of people that lose their spouse, and they're the only ones around. This gentleman here, he only had a sister, and she lived in Michigan. She had no idea what was going on. Nobody else had an idea. So we have a lot of people, not a lot, but a few that have nobody. And, and I hate to have the idea that I get so sick I can't get out of bed and I'm not able to get out of there and nobody's checking on me. So that's my concern. I appreciate anybody that has anything to add to it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Jared Kraft is asking one more time, Jim, can you repeat the votes again slowly so they know what passed and what didn't pass and thanks.
Yes, absolutely. The budget vote passed 587 to 438 out of 1,025 votes. The first ballot item failed, 561 for, 456 against out of 1,017. It failed because it did not meet the 66.67 threshold. The next article item, one was rental, one was RV compound, and one was capital contribution. All three failed. And the second one was 581 for, 451 against, out of 1,022. The failure rate was 56.89. The last one, which is capital contribution, for 427 against 590 out of 1,017. That failed at 42.0%. The rewording of the being able to invest money passed 642 to 376. Was it only needed a simple majority, and that was out of 1,018. And the last one, allowing for the snowbirds, passed 636 for, 387 against, out of 1,023. Almost a 2-to-1 margin, and that one passed as well.
Is there any other comments? Oh, Mary?
Mary Story, Unit 6. Debbie, can you just clarify about the seats vacant? We have 2 people coming off the board. So is it going to be 2 plus a snowbird, or is it 2 of which one of them would be a snowbird? How is the board going to be, what's the number going to be?
It's 1 for the snowbird, and then there's gonna be 2 that are currently on right now, Millie and George, that are coming up.
So the board is going to grow from a 5-man board to a 6-man board, that is what you're saying?
At this time, yes.
Okay, that's what,
Yes.
just clarification, thank you.
Yes, thank you. We were just trying to keep the snowbird thing, okay.
The snowbird is gonna be 1 to 2 coming off, so it's gonna be 2 coming off plus the snowbird, which will make it 6.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Should be 7, right?
Anyways, from 3 to 7.
Right, we do have, 1 other seat that we haven't filled as of yet. So any other comments? Yes, ma'am, if you can come.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Edwards, Unit 2. I'm new here, I don't know many people, but I just have a question about the 60 whatever % rule. Some things failed even though the majority won. If you explain that to me, and then I have something else to say about it.
Yes, in the deed restrictions, there are some pretty clear language that says that if something's changed or it's updated, it has to have a two-thirds majority, and that's part of our original documentation from when this community was built 50 years ago.
And can that be changed?
Yes.
Is that what I got?
Right.
By 2/3 majority.
I think what you've heard several people say is, yes, it probably can be changed, but it would be by a 2/3 majority. Again, that's the original language that came in the deed restriction documents. So what I would recommend, if you have a greater interest in it, is once the website's back up and available, go through, it shows the deed restrictions, read through that documentation, the bylaws, you can read through that, the rules and regulations. It's very long reading, But if you want to know about the community, that's the best way to do it, because it's pretty clear what's available and what we can and can't do.
So the only other thing I had to say was there's a lot of keyboard warriors in this day of, social media, et cetera. And I can look at the board and tell you that none of them know me. I've ran into one board member, and that person I thanked for being on the board, and that person said, I've never been yelled at directly in my face so many times in my life. And that really broke my heart, because you may not agree with everything that they do, but they are trying to do things better for the community. So if you want to hide behind your computer and badmouth the board, you can do that. But I would suggest you come here and you address things like adults. And instead of, and if you don't like it, then why don't you run for the board? If you want to make a change. Okay?
I would like to make an offer to anyone listening on YouTube or in the group here, or just in the community in general, when you watch this, a year from now, a month from now, 5 minutes from now. I'm in the admin office a lot. I'm happy to talk to anybody about any topic, especially money, because that's where I think my strength is. Please stop in and talk to me. I have people come in. I never turn down a call. I always return my calls. Feel free to come see me. And if you don't like what I have to say, well, at least you had the opportunity to talk to me.
I just have a question for Ms. Edwards. First of all, welcome to the community. And second of all, did you come to the office and get your resident package?
I've been to the office several times.
Okay,
Several.
because Jim mentioned the bylaws, the deed restrictions, all the government documents. If you did receive your resident package, those items are in there. So if you didn't, please come in and we'll let it give you one. And then, of course,
I was just
to anybody.
usually why some were at 66% and some were at 70.1. That's where I got them.
And that, of course, applies to anybody that's new. Please come to the office to get your resident packages. The unit reps are very good with meeting people and telling people to come in. I thank all my unit reps. But sometimes, if you're not home, they miss you. And sometimes people are not aware that we do give out the resident packets. So I encourage anybody new, of course, to come in. Not just get the barcode. We do have other paperwork that you need to get.
And Ms. Edwards, what unit number are you in? 2?
4.
Four? Are you her neighbor? Oh, you're in 4, Miss Edwards. Okay. Okay, well, these are the unit reps right over here. So unit number 4. There's your 2 unit reps. So if you want to meet them in person, there they are right after the meeting. And thank you very much for your kind words. I just want you to know we put an enormous amount of hours in every week. I am in the office every Thursday, all day on Friday. I'm in there in and out on the weekends, taking phone calls or even seeing people after hours, things like that. But we truly care about everything that is going on in the neighborhood. We truly care about all of you, because what we do is for everybody collectively and to make everything a nice community and a better place to live, and to make sure we are good shepherds of the money, especially, and anything else. And we try to be very fair about everything that we do, but there is rules and regulations that we have to follow. So is there any other comments? If not, then the last thing that we'll discuss is, I know 2 people had put in regarding the pickleball, that there's, they had some concerns regarding pickleball and tennis courts and things like that. So that will be the very last thing that we discuss, and then we'll adjourn the meeting. Jim, did you have anything? Because you're the pickleball person.
Right. I guess what I'd like to do is, I submitted a budget, a board agenda topic item, and the topic was painting new boundary lines for the pickleball / tennis courts to add lines on the existing courts to allow for 8 courts to be used simultaneously. Right now, we have 2 tennis courts. On those 2 tennis courts, we have 4 pickleball courts that are superimposed on top of them. So you have white lines for tennis, blue lines for pickleball on the same area. And what we wanted to do was to add additional lines so that we had 8 pickleball courts. And I'll ask somebody from the pickleball group to come up and explain why we're looking for that. So my recommendation was to review available quotes and then to make a decision if we wanted to go forward. Now, as an added piece of the puzzle, we did get some quotes for what it would cost to repaint it. And full disclosure, when I started talking about with the pickleball group, I play pickleball, I play tennis, but not here. I said I'd be happy to support it as a board member, but it had to be a reasonable amount. If it was $1 zillion, no, I'm not going to vote for it. Well, the fees that came in were excessive. The fees were anywhere from $27,800 to $14,940. That was more than I was willing to pay. Now today, I had a discussion with Vince, and there is a third option that I'd like to throw out to the group, both the pickleball and the tennis courts. Each tennis court has a pickleball court superimposed on it. Between the 2 tennis and pickleball courts, there's 35 feet? 34 feet of space that we can put another pickleball court in between the courts. 2 pickleball courts, one on the south side of the tennis area, one on the north side. It would not have any effect on the current tennis area. We would not be painting lines on where the tennis court outline is. Their lines are outlined in white. Vince believes that we can get an estimate under $5,000. The pickleball group is going through a budget where they're trying to, what's the right word?
Donation?
Donation, thank you. Appreciate it. It's been a long day as well. They've got some donations, so if they could donate money for a part of that, then it takes some of the sting away from the community. So for example, let's say we got a quote for $4,000 to do that. They came up with one, they're paying 25% of it, the community's paying 75%. Pickleball is a growing sport. If anybody knows anything about it, it's one of the fastest growing sports. So with this new solution, we're waiting for an estimate, but what I'd like to recommend is that we get an approval from the board to move forward, and if it comes to a certain dollar amount or less, that we go forward with that. And I'm sure there's going to be some pickleball or tennis folks that would like to make their comments. Would you like to go first? Now, just so that we're understanding what we're talking about doing, the existing tennis courts, there would have no change to them. It would be only lines that are in the middle of just what I would call a dead area that's just green or blue or whatever our pickleball / tennis courts are. Yes.
This is Cindy Seaver from Unit 1. First of all, these are tennis courts. Okay, they were built by and donated by tennis players many years ago. And that also worked with a board back then. And then about 10, 15 years ago, some of the tennis players heard about pickleball and started trying pickleball and adding the club to Brookridge. Okay. And so they did work together as 2 groups and developed the courts the way they are today. Now, if you have never played tennis, you don't realize that the red on the courts are part of the tennis courts. The red areas around the tennis courts are part of the game. You do not stand in between the lines. When you play tennis, you run out of the lines. The ball may bounce here, but I have to run all the way back to the fence almost to hit the ball. Okay. So by adding more lines, adding more nets, is going to cause a tremendous amount of confusion and distraction to the players that are already there. Go look at High Point. It's like a spaghetti map over there. They have so many lines. And we have players ranging from age 55 to 85, 86. We've had 89-year-olds playing with us before. Anything that distracts them additional lines will cause a lot of problems. In fact, there's a brown spot on the court, and I myself have run for a ball, and when I see that brown spot, I jump over it. Because I think it's a rock or something on the court. So it is a safety issue just to have the blue lines that are there now. And we have agreed and we have worked very well with the pickleball club. They have 22 hours a day after we only have 2 hours a day that they can play pickleball. They don't all have to play from 10 to 12. Okay? 22 hours, and they want us to spend thousands of dollars and add lines into the tennis courts that will cause issues.
Any additional comments from either the tennis or the pickleball community?
Is, Barbara? Oh,
Carol,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Oh,
You go first, please.
Carl Sutton, Unit 1. Just to give you a little what's going on here. Pickleball, according to the data from the Sports and Fitness Industry Association of the United States, is the fastest growing sport in the United States. Just last week, I was at a tournament in Texas. We had over 3,000 participants and 20,000. Yeah. Never watched spectators. Okay, thank you. I say that pickleball has grown rapidly in Brookridge as well. 3 years ago, and I agree with Cindy, all the things that she said as far as starting pickleball, the tennis people originally drew chalk lines on the court so they could play. They tried pickleball, they worked together, and things like that. Well, 3 years ago, we had 12 to 16 people playing pickleball. As of March this year, before the snowbirds, I included, of course, we call ourselves winter campers. Before they went north, we had 80 people, residents, that paid their $10 fee to be a member of the pickleball club. Right now, today, as we were playing pickleball today, we had 4 courts playing, we had 16 people, with 2 people sitting waiting. Now we're not even into with the snowbirds coming back yet. As of today, we had 93 people on our roster. Outside people, we average 4 to 5 people that come. I mean, occasionally with us, sometimes it's every day. And they pay a fee when they come to play, just the same as what we do. This year, what we did is we raised the amount of our club fees. We were paying $10 a month, or $10 a year. What we did is we raised our fees. Everybody agreed to pay $25, with $10 going towards the things that we normally use for, which is balls and different things, get together, so on and so forth, things like that. With the extra $15 that we would dedicate to donate to Brookridge to help offset any costs that may come for that. The ideal situation, and I will agree with Cindy on this, would be to have dedicated pickleball courts and dedicated tennis courts. She says they're tennis courts. They were made tennis courts, but things change as time goes on. They are Brookridge's courts. They're sports courts. Okay? All we're saying is we have 80 people that we know that want to play. We have 4 courts. That's 16 people that can play at a time. A lot of times in the spring, we had as many as 16 people playing and 16 to 20 people waiting to get on. We're looking down the road, eventually we might see dedicated courts. I think numbers speak. We're probably the fastest growing club in Brookridge.
Carl, I gotta ask you to end it in another couple of seconds because your 30 minutes are up.
I guess I would ask you is what other club in this Brookridge has grown 300% in a year's time?
Would anyone else like to make a comment? Please go ahead. Remember your name and your number. For the YouTube crowd, please speak clearly into the mic for anyone else who's talking, maybe a little slower too.
Leslie Dickinson, Unit 2. So it sounds like you want to push tennis right out of here. You want to push tennis right out of here? Well, I want to know, I watch you play pickleball, I don't see 80 people from Brookridge here. So you show me 80 people from Brookridge. The tennis players are all Brookridge residents, all 5 of you. No, sir, we have over 20 residents, so you know what? I got a shoulder injury right now, so I'm not playing tennis every day.
No.
Other people have injuries they don't play every day, so we're not there all the time. So don't say all 5 of us. On a Saturday, we use both of those courts when everybody's there. But it sounds like you're trying to push the tennis club out. Oh, I'm telling you what it sounds like, don't shake your head. That's what it sounds like.
May I say something?
We need to be respectful.
And so do they.
Right.
May I say something as well? First of all, we have to have respect on both sides for any comments. But secondly, maybe I didn't make what I was recommending clear, and let me try again. Between the existing courts, where there's just dead space, where it's one color, what we're suggesting is to get a quote to paint pickleball lines on space that is not the tennis courts.
And as Cindy said, it's confusing when you're running after the tennis ball at full speed. Those lines are confusing as to, are you inbounds, are you out of bounds? You're already in the tennis courts now.
Right, these lines would be outside of the tennis courts that are there.
But they've got the red paint,
Right.
They'd be
and
on
the
the-
red paint is part of a tennis court. It is not the inbound part of the court. The court extend quite a ways out.
So it may bounce on between the white lines, but then it may go into that red area, and you still have to go get the ball. So you still have to run outside the court.
Okay.
So it's turning into a spaghetti mess out there, as somebody said. It makes it difficult for the tennis team to function out there.
Would anyone else like to comment on this before we?
Barbara, did you want to say anything? You have filled out. Barbara? No? Oh, she has. Here she comes.
Is it on?
Hold the mic closer and speak loudly, please.
And please give your name and your unit number.
I think this. Name?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Barbara Beltran, and I think I'm in Unit 2 on Dinsmore. So this is really a hard issue for everyone. The lines, they can be confusing, yes. I played both tennis and pickleball. But it's something that we have to deal with. As to when I was in my hometown, the only way we could play pickleball was on a tennis court. And so there's lines there. So that issue is hard. The other issue is the number of people. You know, I think tennis will concede that pickleball has more people. So the end of the story is compromise, how to make everyone happy, which the board is going to have a hard time doing. But I think in the end, kind of the majority rules, the more people. But my idea is, what is the future of Brookridge and their tennis? And I mean, this, you know, has to have more than just painting the lines. I mean, what in the budget, what is our future for our courts, whether it be tennis or pickleball?
And if in the future, the budget could allow more for this issue. So I think that's where it comes to, is maybe we can get by with maybe the additional 2 courts, if there is room. And then project what we can do. Because we can't go on like this for, years to come.
Would,
3 days a week.
let me just ask this question. Pickleball and tennis players, would you object to all of you getting together and having a meeting?
Well, I really
Would,
don't think.
I mean, you have.
And we came to an agreement that they would give us an extra 15 minutes in the morning, so we could get off the court, and now they're saying, no, they did that under duress.
Okay, would you consider
You're talking-
meeting again?
You're talking
I mean,
about 2 different things. You're talking
right.
about time
Time.
and utilization of the court.
All I'm saying is have another meeting, and then I'm gonna agree to it.
Okay, but we don't know that yet unless everybody comes and gives it a try. I'm just saying, what about we just give it a try?
The officers should get together, right, not the whole. We don't need 80.
Okay, so how many officers are in the tennis? 2. And how many officers are pickleball? 4. So 6 altogether between the 2 groups. Would you all object to having a meeting? We could get a meeting together at the admin building, at the court. Would you object to having
What's
that?
going to be the object of the meeting? I mean, what do you
Well-
feel would be the outcome?
Well, I
Because
feel,
nothing will change as to all the issues that we presented.
well, I think hearing both sides, first off, everybody has a chance to explain their side. And from the pictures and the maps that have been drawn, there's disagreement on lines, on where they're gonna go. If I'm reading this correctly and listening to what you say, there's differences where the lines are gonna be drawn, and how many lines, and red lines, and am I on the right path? Right, but am I on where the lines are? Would you all object to at least giving it a try and sitting down and just having an open discussion? How would you feel, Jim?
I think that's
You're a
fine.
tennis person.
I was playing those sports, but I think that's a good idea to talk and go forward.
All right, and even, I will, right, now, I want you to know, we are not pickleballers, we're not tennis ballers. But we will gladly go and see what you all have to say, and maybe we could help everybody meet in the middle. Not saying everybody's gonna get what they want, no, that's not, but at least we would be willing to see exactly out there what everyone is talking about. Are you all, Nancy, you said, are you okay with that?
Gotta have an open mind with
Huh? Well, at least we would be more educated in making a decision on money, on how much we might need in a budget to help fix whatever is the problem out there. At least we would then be there for you to educate us, for both sides, to educate us. These are the lines that we have to play. This is where we start, this is where we stop, this is where you start and stop. Because I can read maps and see pictures all day long, but unless we go out there and have a chance to walk this and ask you questions, we don't know. You can give me a map of a building and tell me I need to add 4 windows. Well, the 4 windows might be in bathrooms, but at least just for us to go out there and be educated by you, I don't think that's gonna hurt anything.
We have a weekend coming up with good weather. Would your both groups have the availability on Sunday at 10 a.m.? Or Sunday at noon, or Sunday at 2, or Sunday at 4? Can we set up a short meeting?
If you wanna think about it and let Jim know, we'll be,
Okay, what I'd suggest to do, I recommend that we table this. We're gonna meet with Debbie, George, the group meet at 2 o'clock on this coming Sunday. At the courts, correct.
out there,
Just the officers.
just the officers.
Just the officers.
So
Not
2
each.
from your group and 4 from Nancy's group. Well, I'll be there. Right, that's the, we,
Yeah, there can only be 2 board
there can
members.
only be 2 of us, because then it would be a quorum, and George is right, it would be on every door. Okay. If it's me and Jim, sure, I'll be more than happy to go out there. Oh, George, the 2 guys. Oh,
She's concerned that I'm biased.
okay.
I play tennis and pickleball, so to be fair,
Okay,
right, because of my health issue, I got one sport I
Do
have
you
to
mind
pick.
going?
That's my sport.
okay. So, in all fairness, because really, 3 of us cannot be there. Right, right. Oh, okay. So, okay, we'll do that. Are you an officer? Oh, okay.
Debbie, George, in the pickleball and the tennis.
Just the
community.
officers,
The officers of both communities.
2 PM Sunday, correct? Okay. All right. We'll see you there. Okay. Thank you. Yep. I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead. Oh, he has some, yeah. Oh,
No, she's not go unit 2. I don't play pickleball, I don't play tennis, but I'm just making a statement based on my observations here. I'm assuming that both groups have time slots that are set up. Is that fair to say? Okay. Doesn't this basically come down to allocation of resources? What I'm saying is this. I played Little League and Pony League baseball. There were how many teams in the league? Only 2 were playing on a field at a given time. So the point is, no matter what we wanted to do, you couldn't play more than 2 teams at one time, given the resources you had. Okay, right? So it sounds to me like this should all be just a question of, hey, how many hours of each day those courts are allocated to each group, right? I mean, seriously, is there some rule that says, oh, you can only play from 10 to 12, and the rest of the days it's not utilized? I guess I'm missing the whole thing here. Okay, I don't know what the deal is. Right?
right.
It's how many hours you have, they have lights. It's hard to.
Right.
They can play a light if they wanted.
Right, I mean, but we're willing to meet with them to see what they have to say and to bring their concerns back. So I think just to give us the opportunity to go out there and see what everyone's talking about and also find out what their schedules are. How many for this time, that's 10 to 12, 12 to 2.
Maybe that will require some people instead of like 10 to 12, or noon to 2. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like it's, maybe it's me. It
Well-
sounds like we're arguing about something that you have more resources there, but you're not willing to move off of, what you want to do. Or willing to do.
And I understand that, but I also understand that, it's important, they like that sport, they play well at it, they have teams, they have camaraderie, it's important to them. So as a resident, it's important to you, so as the board, it's important to us that we understand and try to at least, see what everyone is discussing. Yep.
Can I clarify one thing on the drawings?
Why don't we do that on Sunday? I will bring all this with us, me and George, and you can, I'll make some copies and you can,
What I wanted to say.
yes.
That has been altered, the original proposal, because of trying to save the tennis and the pickleball and the funds instead of 8 courts. As Jim spoke, putting 1 court between them, so those drawings, all those lines mean absolutely nothing.
And that's why we want to go out there and see in person, okay? Because like I had told you, you could give me a drawing all day long and, right, and seeing it in person and seeing a drawing is 2 different places, okay? Is there any other oh.
I think the biggest thing that Jim and I discussed today was money, okay? For everybody to know, we just got done 2 years ago doing the tennis courts and the pickleball. At that time, it was discussed that we're gonna put the same 4 courts back on the court, for pickleball, 1 on each side. And now they want to come up with 8 courts on the tennis courts. In order to do that, you'd have to repaint the entire courts again, because the paints wouldn't match, the red would be redder and the greener would be greener. The only option without doing the whole thing, spend 27 grand, is to go ahead and put 2 pickleball courts in the red zone between the 2 courts. That would be the most feasible and less cost-effective way to add more courts and add more players to the pickleball. I understand about the whole tennis thing, I understand it, but the most feasible way, cost-effective way, right now, instead of wasting money from reserves to go ahead and redo them again, is to go ahead and just add 2 more courts in the center of the courts themselves. That's the most economical way to get it done. My opinion.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and adjourn this meeting. It is 8:35. Thank you. Have a great night. Be careful going home, everybody.